Welcome to the Website Success Show, the podcast dedicated to helping women in business get more traffic and sales through their website with less reliance on social media and paid ads. I'm Jules White, the founder of the Website Success Hub, and I love helping local and online businesses make more money through their existing website. If you have a business you love but you don't like the way your website performs, then this is the show for you. Happy Friday. Good morning. So there have been some big updates from Google this week. They've rolled out the new AI mode, which is a new type of search. They've rolled out this new type of search. It's just in the US at the moment. It's called AI mode, and it's where we get AI generated answers right within Google's browsers. And it's a bit different to the AI overviews, and it's going to change absolutely everything. And no doubt this will roll out soon to the UK and beyond. We normally tend to be not too far behind the US, and we are usually the next one to get these updates. I've been feeling a bit like, how do I keep up with everything that's going on? Feeling a little bit like out of touch and almost feeling a bit overwhelmed with it all as well. There's so much, because I'm in the world where I see lots of SEO stuff. I see lots of stuff from the amazing people in SEO who are way more techie than me and way more, just have a lot more of their ducks in a row. They have production teams, they have people within their company where it is literally just their job to keep up to date with these new changes and to try things and experiment and all of those sort of things. And when you're listening to lots of content like that, I can understand why it leaves me with that. Am I behind? Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? Do I know enough? And I just have to have a little bit of a word with myself, really. So I had a little bit of a word with myself and a word with ChatGPT yesterday, just to remember what actually matters to the people that I help, the people I'm helping, my clients, people in my membership, podcast listeners like yourself, people in my Facebook group are not other SEO professionals. They're just a business owner, ultimately. I don't mean just a business owner. I mean that you're not a tech guru, you're not an SEO or website expert. So whether you're a beauty or a wellness brand or a skin clinic, a salon, a private practice, or even a coach or a training academy, you all ultimately, you want the same thing. You want your existing website to bring you more customers. You want marketing that feels easier. You want to spend less time on social media. It absolutely makes you feel like crap being on there. People tell me this time and time again. People don't want to have to rely so much on social media. They feel like they're spending so much time on social media and not getting great results for the amount of time that they're spending on there. That's what I have to remind myself, is those are the people that need my help and want my help and are getting my help. They want to be found by local customers, as well as making more e-commerce sales, whether that's for your products or your online courses, or it's just becoming fully booked. You want that. You want your website to help you with that. So I've got a few tips for you today to help you get more visibility in your beauty and wellness brand. I will touch on why things are changing and how we can actually make sure that what we're doing right now is not only supporting our existing SEO, supporting us showing up in Google searches, but it's supporting things as the world is changing, as things are moving forward, really. One of the things that I would say is what still works and what is actually worth your time for you to do at the moment. And one of the big things, especially with local businesses, so if you depend on local customers, if you need to show up more in local searches, then your Google business profile still matters, and it matters more than ever, really. So it feeds both into local search and tools like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Google Search. Google Gemini will be incorporated more into Google Search, and it will almost disappear. Like eventually the AI mode of Google will replace the traditional 10 links. They've already done this when they've shown the updates of what's actually happening with the new version of search in the US. And if you are in the US, let us know. Have you tried it? There's a button you can go and click where it used to be the I'm feeling lucky button. You can click on that and it will then take you into this AI mode, which is very clever. It's going to be amazing. I think it will ultimately be helpful, and it ultimately will be good for businesses who have spent some time working on this kind of stuff. And even though like traffic will drop to a lot of websites for a lot of informational queries, but hopefully it will be good because those businesses who are making sure that their content is optimized, making sure that they're delivering and they're getting good reviews and they're getting mentioned and they are actually delivering a good service, then hopefully this is all going to help to filter out the ones who have just done the most work on their SEO and the ones who have maybe paid the most and have gamified the system. I'm hopeful for it, optimistic that ultimately this is going to help. There's definitely some work to do, but the majority of my customers haven't really done a lot with their SEO. So when they first come to work with me, they might have built their website themselves. They might have had it built for them a while ago and not ever then looked at it again, had not really done a lot to change it and update it, never really sort of thought about their SEO. So this is all about getting those fundamentals in place. But anyway, I've digressed a little bit there because I was talking about Google business profiles and why they still matter. If you are a local business, Google business profiles are one of those things that's a real quick win. You can make changes to it today and see the effect right away. The changes you make will show up on your profile straight away. So it's not like Google where you have to wait for Google to crawl through your website and understand those changes and then see if it decides to show you up in the search results. Your Google profile is much more of a quick win. And it's something I often focus on with clients when they first come into my world. Make sure that their profile is optimized. You're making the most of it. It's a free tool from Google that connects you with local customers on the map. And over 40% of searches on Google are with a local search intent. So really important. If you've not spent any time on your Google profile, then I would say that's something to really think about. If you don't know what to do and you're not sure about how to do that, I have a Google Business Profile course on my website. So I'll link to that in the show notes and you can go and check that out. Or I actually offer this as a one-to-one service as well, where we spend 3 hours together on Zoom, optimizing your profile together. It's something that I absolutely love doing. There are always real nuggets that come out of that, and not just for optimizing your profile, but also some of the messaging that always comes out when we're actually working through your profile is things that you can use on your website as well. Why it matters if you actually update your Google profile as we're moving forward for both for SEO and AI mode. The AI mode and the AI bots actually scanning through your website and your business profile and those things that it needs to understand about your business. That is the kind of stuff that it will pull in from your Google business profile. So like for local questions, it might be things like what are, like insert your business names, business hours or opening hours. Does business name offer click and collect? You know, those kind of things where actually they're much more specific queries, and it might even be longer queries that people will be having much more conversational chats with AI mode, where it might be, you know, find me a local spa that's open now and offers vegan products or something like that. And it will go off and then break that down into different searches to search and find those queries and then deliver results. And if your business is in the map and you've got your Google business profile, then actually that's one of the things that is going to be showing in local results. So something you can do today, just log into your profile, make sure that you've got your essential information and it's all up to date. You've added all the different parts into your profile that you can. Sometimes it's just the case of going in and checking what's there. And you'll discover things like I can add frequently asked questions, Q&As. I can add my attributes. I can add that I've got parking outside, those kind of things. If you just go through and look at the basics of your profile, you will discover things in there where you can add in extra information about your business. So looking at your categories as well, making sure that you've selected all the categories that are appropriate for your business, making sure your primary category, the one that's most appropriate. Although there are a few things with that, I would be hesitant to change your primary category unless it's something that's going to make a real difference, because that can then trigger a re-verification if you change your primary category. Not always, but ideally, we don't want to be having to re-verify with Google. It's a bit of a pain doing that. But certainly you can add up to 10 categories that can really help you to show up in other local searches as well. But only add the ones that are relevant for your business. So you can update your description in there as well, add a recent post. If you've got events going on in your business, or if you've been involved in something locally, add that in as an update or add it as an event. Add relevant Q&A questions as well for things that aren't covered elsewhere on your profile. So I wouldn't suggest adding questions on things like your opening times, because that can be added and that information is elsewhere on your profile and it's going to then stay more up to date if it's like bank holiday closures and things like that. So I would definitely recommend doing that. You know, I'm all about creating content that you own though as well. So I would say if you're adding Q&As to your Google profile, if you're adding relevant things that people may search for around your business, questions that people might have about the products that you offer or the services that you offer, then making sure you've also got those questions on your website as frequently asked questions is really important. You can maybe slightly reword them so Google doesn't treat it as sort of duplicate content, but I think that that's probably not going to be too much of a problem, but making sure that you've got that there on your website is really, 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 really important, because it all helps with those kind of questions that people are going to be asking, more specific questions to the AI mode. Then that really helps with that. You can also then, with those frequently asked questions, if you are using social media and you are looking for content ideas, you could add those frequently asked questions as like a carousel or something, and that will help you with content for social media as well. These are all the things that people are going to be wanting to know about your business, really. So definitely Google Business Profile. Make sure that that's updated. Make sure that you're using it as you can. Make sure that you are making the most of it, really. And then your website copy is really important. So the website copy is the words that you're saying on your website, the things that you're talking about, and how you get across what your business is all about, the problems that you solve for your customers, and the ways that your business is unique, what makes you different from your competitors down the road. And your website copy needs, any content on your website really needs to be the things that you want to be found for, and they need to be written in a clear and structured way. And this is really important. This is the basics of SEO on your website. And the basic, the foundational SEO is really important for the bots to be able to scan your website and to understand it, whether that is AI bots, Google bots, or whatever is actually scanning your website, to understand that data. Your pages are laid out in a hierarchical way. So imagine it like an English essay where you've got one heading at the top, that's your H1 heading. Then we come down and we have subheadings within that, which are your H2s. And then maybe within those, we have some subtopics, which might be H3s. Making sure as well that you are looking at your homepage, looking at your products and services page, and looking whether it's relevant. The information you're talking about on there, is it relevant? Is it clear? Optimizing it for natural conversational language is good as well. So making sure that if people are actually having conversations with AI mode, or if people type into Google and it's much more conversational now, then making sure that you've got that kind of language on your website. Don't be too formal. Don't use that language that you wouldn't use with your customers. This is where you could add that into your frequently asked questions, thinking about how would people actually ask you that question in real life, and then integrating that into the way that you're writing your copy. I always say it's really important, as soon as somebody lands on your website, that they know within 3 seconds what you do, how you're going to make their life better, and what they need to do to get it. And really, we don't want to make them burn mental calories trying to work out what you do, really. And that is even more important with AI searches, making sure that the bots and Google can understand your website, really. And then number 3, for local businesses and for any businesses really that want to be showing up in AI search, want to be recommended by ChatGPT, recommended by Google, and actually showing up moving forward, are reviews, mentions, and credibility. These are the things that are going to make a massive difference. There's a company called Ahrefs, and they have an SEO tool, so you can do keyword research and things like that through it. And they've just recently, literally in the last week, released some things where they've done research on what they think the AI overviews are actually using as ranking factors. So Google has over 200 ranking factors of the things that Google looks for in a website to decide what is going to be the best thing to rank for a particular search query. And Ahrefs have gone off and done this study on, ultimately, the thing that came out on top of that is brand visibility across the internet. So whether it's Google reviews or getting linked from a local website, or directories like Yelp and Yell and TripAdvisor and all sorts of places where anything where you can sort of get your website mentioned, and industry specific sites as well. So if you're getting mentioned across different websites, forums, use it, any sort of digital PR that you're doing, any in-person stuff that you're doing where maybe people would be mentioning that they were at an event with you. So maybe networking, if you're involved in local causes, podcast interviews, anything that's sort of publicly available, can all help with actually that brand visibility and with your brand reputation as well. And ideally, what we want is, we want obviously a positive sentiment about our business across the internet. So whether people are talking about you on forums, or whether they're talking about you if there's public local Facebook groups and things like that, or public events boards or Pinterest boards and things like that, that is not hidden behind having to be a member of a group, that can all help. And some of the things that are sort of coming out now is that maybe actually getting links to your website is going to become less relevant. They still are relevant. It's still really important. It's still then, it helps to build the trust and the domain authority of your website. But it's likely moving forward that actually your brand mentions, your mentions of your website will become more relevant because AI can understand that your brand is the one that's being talked about, even if it's not actually got a direct link to your website. And that's quite interesting. I think that would be quite an interesting development and probably a good thing as well, because then hopefully, as I said at the start, it's not going to be just people who've gamified the system or people who've just bought a load of links to their website. It's getting so much smarter. And this has been part of the evolution of Google over the years, is actually every update has then made it that it's more relevant content. It's less easy to do spammy SEO tactics. And it's just a thought that popped into my head here, that there's me stressing about knowing enough and making sure that I can give you the up-to-date information when the information is changing on a weekly basis. But I had a conversation with somebody last week where she'd been told to just stuff a load of keywords into a page and make them invisible, like make them a really small font or make them in the same color as the background. And she'd been literally given that information a couple of weeks ago. And it's like, that wouldn't even work, 10 years ago, probably, let alone now. So I definitely have to have a word with myself and remind myself that actually I'm doing everything I can to stay up to date, to give the information to you that is relevant for you right now, the moment you're in, and with it given with constraints of you're not trying to become an SEO expert, you're not trying to become a website expert, you're trying to run your business and use your website to make the most of your marketing and have your website actually bringing customers into you. So yeah, hopefully I'm achieving that. Hopefully I'm helping you to understand more without it being overwhelming as well. So moving forward, the big thing is about, if you want to be featured in the AI overviews and showing up in Google as well, making sure that your brand awareness and your brand visibility is out there across the internet. You're being mentioned in different places. So what you can do to help with that is making sure that you are actually asking for reviews. That's a small part of this. And reviews are one of the really important bits, actually. I say a small part, but reviews are one of the things that will actually become more important with AI overviews and with AI trying to work out what's a good recommendation. So if I'm asking for a recommendation for new swimwear, for example, and one of the things that AI, or like Gemini, ChatGPT, Google's new AI mode, one of the things it's going to be looking at is what is the overall sentiment on that particular brand that it's recommending to me, and are there lots of reviews, and it will understand the reviews a lot more. It will understand those nuances of what people have actually said in those review conversations, really. So really important. Make sure that you are responding to your reviews as well, encouraging detailed reviews from your happy customers, taking snippets of those reviews and popping those onto your website as well, so that if people come through to your website, they can scan, read and see those reviews. And that all helps with that social proof on your own website as well. So SEO hasn't been replaced by AI mode. It's just evolving. Things are changing. But the truth is that clear, helpful content, a solid website that's well structured and a good reputation are still the things that help you get found. And I would always say that focusing on your own content first and foremost is critical. If you decided that it was more important to post on Instagram or TikTok than to make sure that your spa, your clinic or your shop was ready for customers, and you opened the doors to your customers and the shop was messy, disorganized, you hadn't really planned what you were going to do when people come through the door, you haven't swept the floor for a few days, and you've basically left things in a disordered way and ignored that part of your business, ignored your housekeeping within your business, and decided actually it's more important for me to create an Instagram post, then you would know that that's not, that just immediately, as you're saying, it doesn't make sense. So your website is your online store. And I think often we treat it that way. We will think it's more important to go and create a social media post than it is to get our own website sorted and get our own ducks in a row, as I say. And the important thing is it's what you own. It's an asset to your business, and no algorithm can take that away from you. So I would 100% say, before you start thinking about all of your posts that you need to do and what you need to do for social media, think about your website, think about your Google business profile. As much as you don't own that, you're probably going to get more results as a local business from actually making sure that is in order, making sure that information is on your website as well, as I say, with things like the frequently asked questions, making sure your website just isn't confusing, is helping people to know what to do. Actually, you've put some thought into actually what you want people to do when they come through, and just spend a little bit of time with that, and it's going to make all the difference, really. So I am keeping a little info base with what I learn each week about AI search and what seems to be working, what's not. But I'm not rushing with this. I know that it's so important to get those SEO foundations in place. And this is the first step to showing up in AI search. So I'm focusing on teaching what I know helps you at whatever stage you're at. And my clients are not the ones who need 1 million customers right now. They're the ones who want to connect with the right people and have a steady stream of clients and customers into their business without burning out on social media. And I'm making sure that everything I do and everything I teach is layering in the new bits as they become useful as well. And we're preparing for the changes that are definitely coming. Things are changing in the world of search. Those foundations and having your SEO basics in place first is really, really important. So if you need some help right now getting started with making your website work for your business, then book a website potential discovery call or join my membership, the Website Growth Club, where you can take bite-sized action steps to make your website work for you and make it your hardest working team member. So you don't need to become an SEO or a website expert. You don't have to keep up with everything. That's what I'm here to help you with. But you can take a few simple steps that make your website work harder for you. And I'll keep showing up with the real talk and making sure that I'm keeping up to date, hopefully, with what's actually helping. So I hope you found this episode helpful, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Website Success Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps others find the show. If you're ready to make your website work harder for you, grab my free beginner's guide to SEO. It's packed with simple, actionable tips to help you get started improving your website's visibility and attracting your dream client. Head to thewebsitesuccesshub.com/start to download it and take the guesswork out of creating a website that works for your business.